Hello, my name's Adam and I'm leading the London Walk's Pink Floyd walking tour on the 23rd of September 2017. It's the second and final outing for this walking tour. I do hope you can join me. Last time around I was joined by a mixture of Pink Floyd fans, aficionados, real hardcore knowledgeable Floyd heads, and London walkers who were keen to find out a little bit about Pink Floyd for the first time. So a real mix of people on the walk. And so this time around I've decided to do just a couple of pointers for those of you who are coming to the walk cold with no prior knowledge of Pink Floyd. Here's a couple of things to listen to which may well enhance your enjoyment. The artistic ground we're going to be covering largely Pink Floyd's first two albums. 1967's Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and the second album, A Saucer Full of Secrets, from 1968. Much maligned, not least by the band themselves. It's an important album in our narrative, though, because, well, I think first and foremost, David Gilmour comes into the picture here. This is his first recorded output with Pink Floyd. The new boy comes into the picture, David Gilmour. It's also important in so much as we can see the seeds of many of Pink Floyd's later themes. We can hear the distant rumble, the distant gunfire of Roger Waters' anti-war themes, which culminates so memorably, of course, in obviously the final cut, but in the shape of Corporal Clegg here. A debut for Roger Waters' anti-war sentiments. It's Corporal Clegg that I'd like to point to here for that much maligned aspect of the album. Richard Wright, the Floyd's keyboard player, he reviewed Roger Waters' Corporal Clegg as being, well, not very good. We can find a detail in the story in this too, I think, in so much as there was a real power struggle during this album. For a real struggle for taking the reins of the band. Syd Barrett has just left the group. And I think it was anticipated in many quarters that Richard Wright, who'd written potential singles for the band and who'd taken over on vocal chores, he was going to emerge as the band leader. As we know, that wasn't the case. Roger Waters begins to flex his ample muscles, the Incredible Hulk of rock and roll, on this album, and setting his sights on the control of the band, as he sets indeed the controls for The Heart of the Sun, as track 3 is called. So it's an interesting album in so much as we hear a real power struggle going on. The last track, track number 7, Jug Band Blues, written and performed by Syd Barrett. Syd Barrett's last recorded output with the band. He'd left the band, or he'd been ejected from his own band. We'll discuss that on the walking tour. Syd Barrett will loom large in our narrative on the Saturday walking tour. But his final output with Pink Floyd can be found on this album, Jug Band Blues. It's a spectral presence. It does a lot to dramatise the myth of Syd Barrett. Ghostly, he's the Banquo's ghost at the feast. Don't shake thy obligatory Hendrix perm at me, to paraphrase Shakespeare and Roger Waters. So his ghostly, spectral, quite moving presence makes this album a comment-worthy album in the Pink Floyd canon. So do have a listen to this, if you possibly can, before the walking tour. Pink Floyd's second album, 1968, A Saucer Full of Secrets.